Paris.
I feel like the whole world thinks they know me.
That's hot. That's hot. That's hot.
No one really knows who I am.
When I was doing the Bombshell tour 2 years ago, sitting here, people were asking me, could this happen today? Could somebody as beautiful and brilliant as Hedy Lamarr be walking around among us and we write them off for some reason, maybe for some scandal that they've had, like Hedy had, the first orgasm on screen. And I kept going, yes, of course it could happen today. And people would say things like, well, no, I mean, thank God we've moved on from that era. And I was like, no, I think it could still happen today. And so when this story came and, I started to talk to Paris, I started to feel like, yes, this is the story I've wanted to tell since I began the press tour for Bombshell. All right, can we go back, do it again, real walk. Paris.
What do you mean I'm not on a runway?
Just as soon as we met, I felt this instant connection. And as we were filming, it became like this sisterly bond where I felt like I could tell her anything and things that I've never discussed before with anyone, not even my family, not my friends. She really just asked me questions that no one has ever asked before and was very, not hard on me, but, just asking me things and really pushing me to my limits where she's like, this film is just, nothing is off limits. We have to talk about everything. Sometimes I would be like crying and I would get very emotional because I was talking about things that I have never discussed before. And I think with my life, it's just been always so busy and it's constant, 24/7, traveling 250 days a year, nonstop. So I never really had time to even think about it myself. So I, in this process, really discovered so much about myself, exploring who I really was, because I never really thought about it before because I was always playing this character and I was never really myself. But she really just dug into everything and pulled so much out of me where it was almost like this therapeutic experience. And I really feel like I found myself during this film, which is weird to say, but this is actually the first real thing that I've ever done in my life because everything else has just been, the character. So I finally felt like I took the mask off of the character and I was Paris. And I think that's why the film is titled This is Paris, because this is me.
I did not think that we would be living on a porch with a well in the middle of the floor.
With The Simple Life, it was the first of its kind. There was never a reality show like that. So when I started, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. So I basically created this character and I didn't realize what a huge success The Simple Life would be and that I would have to continue doing this character for 5 years of the show. And then people just thought that's who I was. But deep inside, I always knew that wasn't me because every time I would go home at night, that's just not who I was. And even now, I feel like I finally have discovered who I truly am because I really didn't even know at that point. And I think when people watch this film, they're going to see that there's so much more to me than what I've portrayed in the media for so long.
Why are you being mean to me? Why can't you say that to me?
You're gonna be really sorry.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
A lot of my friends are in this industry, whether they're influencers or YouTubers or building brands, and they all say, Paris, you're the one who inspired me. Watching The Simple Life and growing up with you, you're the reason I do what I do. And it makes me feel proud to have basically created a whole new genre of celebrity where people could make a brand and make a living off being themselves or being a character. And, when I started out, there was no social media. There was none of that. So I think it's amazing with all these social media platforms that people could build a life off of it. And to be the one who paved the way and to be a pioneer and always have been ahead of my time, I think because I'm an Aquarius. I don't know what it is, but it's very flattering to hear from people.
I just heard screaming, bloody murder.
But I couldn't tell you guys because every time I tried, I would get punished by them. I still have nightmares about it.
Here we are at Paris' school.
And the only thing that saved my sanity was thinking about who I wanted to become when I got out of there.
Aaron and Alexandra, what's maybe one very surprising fact that you learned while working on this that maybe we'll see it in the documentary or about Paris?
Paris never goes to the gym. It's true. Wow. She doesn't. What the hell, man? She likes lasagna and she doesn't go to the gym. I mean, there is no God. No, seriously. What is an anecdote?
No, that's great. That's an honest answer. That's not my answer, but that is an honest answer.
That's true.
I was, you have intentions for a project and you just don't know what's going to happen in documentary because of the nature of the medium. And so I knew that Alex and we would excavate and try to get to that like deeper truth of who Paris is, but I didn't expect Paris to be going through this experience necessarily herself. I didn't anticipate her being so vulnerable, and it's a little bit lightning in a bottle. Like, you can make a biopic on a celebrity, but if you catch them at the right time in their lives, when maybe it's a pivot point for them, where they're sort of thinking existentially about who they are, that's magical, and you can't necessarily plan for that. And so there's something about Paris's willingness to be vulnerable and her relationship with Alex as the director that was, again, you have high hopes for any project, but didn't expect that sort of journey to necessarily unfold in front of our cameras just when we happened to be filming. Mm-hmm. And yet that's what happened. And that was a good surprise, but definitely a surprise.
To be serious about it, because Aaron was, I did not expect at all to have this sister relationship form with Paris. And it's true that it was kind of instantaneous, but it developed. And Paris literally strongly reminds me of my sister. I have an older sister who is very similar and who had a trauma in her childhood, which is not the same. But I think I recognized what she'd been through because I had been through it in close proximity in my childhood. And I think I recognized when I met Nikki, her role with Paris. And so I think we were able to kind of take those roles with each other. I have been in Nikki's shoes. And so I think we had that dynamic right away. And you can't predict that. You don't know that that's going to come. And I think that is a lot of why there was magic on the set for this film, like from day one.
Just created this brand and this persona and this character, and I've been stuck with her ever since.
Is that enough?
No.